Welcome back, Nicholas Melanowski with the Exclusive Mindset Podcast. Today's a little different. We're out of the studio. We are at the St. Regis Bahia Mar, Fort Lauderdale. We're gonna find out everything we need to know about this amazing new project. Come check this out. Here we are in these beautiful surroundings at the St. Regis Bahia Mar, Fort Lauderdale. In this episode, we are going to sit down and talk to Dan Teixeira, Vice President of Sales for the St. Regis and Broker Associate with Douglas Elliman. It is not every day we get to sit and talk to such a professional. Dan, welcome.
Welcome to my hometown, Nick.
Happy to be speaking with you. Good to see you as well. Dan, when luxury buyers evaluate Fort Lauderdale today, what do you believe creates the biggest emotional impact? Marina development, walkability, entertainment, or major infrastructure investments?
So when you look at Fort Lauderdale, we truly are, I call it the Monaco of the Americas. We have more boats and yachts than any other city in the world. So the marine industry is Fort Lauderdale. Years ago, people used to think of the image of being spring break. Boy, have we changed our image. We now are truly the boating capital of the world. We are the Venice of America. So the marine industry is really what controls the city of Fort Lauderdale's infrastructure, its present, its past, and future. Just as an example, Bahia Mar, the iconic buildings that are here were in the film Where the Boys Are back in 1960. Now what we're doing is we're coming out with the St. Regis Bahia Mar development, which is a 40-acre development from ocean to intercoastal with one of the largest marinas in the state, over 250 slips, with boats accommodated up to 400 feet.
Do you think buyers are more attracted to lifestyle-driven amenities like restaurants, boating, waterfront experiences, or long-term infrastructure improvements like things like the Bright Line, traffic flow, and convention center expansions?
So the transportation is very important. And in Fort Lauderdale, we have the Fort Lauderdale International Airport, which is located about 10 minutes away from St. Regis Bahia Mar. We also have the Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport. Within minutes of our location, you have the Bright Line, which will take you anywhere from Orlando to Miami nonstop. We also have Port Everglades, which is now the third largest cruise ship industry port in the world. Port Everglades is going through a major infrastructural change. We just built the 1.1 million square foot Broward County Convention Center with an 800-room Omni Hotel. In the pipeline, we're going to have a monorail system that takes you right from the Fort Lauderdale Airport right through the port to the convention center. We just added Disney Cruise Line to Fort Lauderdale, Port Everglades. So there is a tremendous amount of transportational attributes coming and are here in Fort Lauderdale, and transportation is the key to becoming a world-class destination.
As far as the sales go and sort of your buyer pool, have you seen buyers become more confident paying premium prices because they believe Fort Lauderdale is transforming into a true year-round luxury destination?
Yes. Fort Lauderdale now is recognized by having Michelin star restaurants, which is first for the city. We contracted with Michelin. We now have 5 Michelin restaurants in Fort Lauderdale. Last night at the City Commission meeting, we just passed a new storefront on Las Olas Boulevard, which is transformed. We're bringing Cartier and Rolex to Las Olas Boulevard, which is our main shopping thoroughfare located just blocks from the St. Regis. In addition to the infrastructural changes, right next door to our development, we are going to have a 250,000 gallon marina at the Aquatic Center. So there is so much public and private investment going on in the city of Fort Lauderdale, all within 1 mile of the St. Regis Bahia Mar.
With all this development going on, which development do you believe has most elevated Fort Lauderdale's global image? Las Olas Marina development, convention center expansion, Bright Line connectivity, or future entertainment and/or hospitality projects?
I think definitely it would be the new Broward County Convention Center. The Broward County Convention Center is now at the same level as the Miami Beach Convention Center, meaning the square footage is 1.2 million square feet. We also have the largest hotel in South Florida with the convention center. And the ballroom at the convention center is the largest ballroom in the Southeast United States. So there are a lot of groundbreaking efforts with the convention center. Once we did the convention center and upgraded to the new convention center, we then acquired Disney Cruise to enter the Port Everglades. And the county just passed the bypass road opening, so that now you can go right from the airport right through the port to the convention center, and soon we'll have a monorail system taking you right to the convention center.
Wow, it sounds like Fort Lauderdale is heavily invested, in that development.
Yes, the city has worked diligently for quality of life issues. So for example, a family-friendly international destination is the model of where the city is trying to go. So the aquatic center, the children's high dive swimming center right next to us. We also have added to the city park system the Iceplex. That is the home for the world champion Florida Panthers. This is where they practice in downtown Fort Lauderdale. We also just added 42 courts to the Jimmy and Chris Everett Tennis Club,
wow,
which is right next to the Iceplex. And to take it one step further, we are starting construction on a 1,000 car garage with the vertiport traveling on top of it, being built right next to the Iceplex. So you're going to be able to travel in the air from Fort Lauderdale to Boca, Palm Beach, Miami within a matter of minutes. And this
wow,
will all be built and finished by the end of next year.
So it's happening now.
It's happening.
That's amazing.
The city is committed to the future, and we're doing a lot of innovative initiatives, whether it's the Las Olas Marina, which is also right nearby. That Las Olas Marina, there's a limit of, you have to have 100-foot yachts or larger to be at that marina. They're anchored by Ocean Prime, and they have all marine services at the marina, which is something that you can walk to. What you mentioned though, and I think is important, is the walkability. So everything I'm mentioning for the most part, except for the Iceplex, is within walking distance of Bahia Mar. When people come here to buy, they want to know what they can walk to. When I mentioned that you can walk to Michelin-rated restaurants, that you can go to a world-class aquatic center, a state-of-the-art aquarium, and all these other great hotels up and down the Fort Lauderdale beachfront, it certainly has helped the walkability factor, because all of these other hotels, whether it's the Four Seasons or the Ritz-Carlton or the W, also has world-class spas and restaurants. So people are looking for that common ground.
Wow. How important are the major annual events like the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show, air shows, concerts, food festivals? When buyers decide where they want to invest and live, how important are those, I would say, attractions?
The buyers who are buying at the St. Regis Bahia Mar are usually coming from major metropolitan cities. So they're used to having, whether it's the theater, the arts, or functions, that is very important to keep them interested. So Fort Lauderdale offers a lot of events throughout the year. We've got the Fort Lauderdale, first of all, the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show is the largest boat show in the world. Wow. And that attracts everyone from all over the world. And this is right in your backyard. Then of course we have the Winterfest Boat Parade held every year during the holidays. We also have the Tortuga Music Festival, which raises a lot of funds for the oceanfront and ecology systems. We also have the annual air show, which just happened a couple of weeks ago. And then of course you have the Las Olas art fairs. All of these are certainly helping the infrastructure. They build a very big financial base. You know, the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show, for example, has the economic impact of 4 Super Bowls.
Wow.
So South Florida is really at the epicenter of all of these events that are happening. We just had F1 happen nearby. That was a very big impact to the community. We're now going to have the World Cup coming, you know, to the Hard Rock Stadium. And the Hard Rock Stadium is located on the Broward-Dade County line. So actually our hotels and our beachfront are actually closer to these events than what people would think in Miami. So that is right in our backyard.
Wow. So Dan, you've been a long-term expert in and on Fort Lauderdale. Do you believe Fort Lauderdale is now competing more directly with cities like Miami, Palm Beach, Naples, and other luxury coastal markets for high net worth buyers? Where do you see it?
I think we're all competing, but I think it's a different buyer for each one of the areas that you mentioned. Fort Lauderdale acts like a big city, but it looks like a hometown. We have a main street, obviously called Las Olas Boulevard, but we have very low impact buildings that are in the process of being approved. So for example, when you mention Bahia Mar St. Regis and you see the development, you also have to remember it's on 40 acres of land. So the city does not want to be Manhattan or Miami. It has its own identity. Everything is really centered around the boating world. You know, we're one of the few cities that has, I think, a water taxi system that you can probably use 24 hours a day.
Wow.
You can go to the movie theater, you can go to downtown, you can go to the beach, the marinas, the port. The new convention center has its own dedicated water taxi system that take you to the beach. So I think when you look at all of these items in totalitarianism, I think you're going to find that we're at the center of the universe of Fort Lauderdale, but we're also located between Palm Beach, Miami, and Naples. So by living here, you have the opportunity to go visit these places, especially with the Bright Line, and it's a seamless transportation.
How much has the evolution of the waterfront and marina scene changed the type of buyer entering the Fort Lauderdale market today?
It's the type of vessels that are coming here. We're getting larger and larger yachts. So even the Las Olas Marina had to limit the type of yachts that they have to a minimum of 100. So now we have super yacht marinas.
Wow.
Right next door to us, we have the Aquatic Center Marina, also known as the Swimming Hall of Fame of the marina. And that marina also has a limit of 100 plus. Here at Bahia Mar, we have 250 slips. We're not the only marina in town. But what happens is you start living within a marina village. Right down the street from us, where you look at the Las Olas Marina, that was an asphalt parking lot at one time.
Wow.
And we were able to work with the city and state to bring it back to its original look, which was an actual marina years ago, back in the 1930s, although we dredged it to get the larger vessels there. But in addition to having a marina, now what's changed is people used to come to the boat show and then go to Miami or go to another city. They're now staying here because we have the accommodations, we have 5-star hotels, we've got Michelin-rated restaurants, we have world-class shopping on Las Olas. So the city has certainly evolved.
Dan, you being the sales director, you meet with thousands of clients and customers. I keep hearing walkability with the St. Regis. So we spoke with the development partners. Everything seems to be walkability, easy access, amenities. How important to these buyers that you're seeing in today in real time is the walkability aspect when dealing with this?
I think the walkability has become more important to buyers because as the area grows, and Florida certainly has added a lot of population, the traffic also increases. So as traffic increases, people want to live in an area that they know that they can walk to do most of their services. In addition to being able to walk to their services, they're looking for those quality of life, fun things to do. And when you live in a location like this, and you can, I mean, think about it, I can walk to probably 100 restaurants within a half a mile of here. I have shops. I probably have a dozen world-class spas. I have marinas. I can also take the water taxi, if I don't feel like walking, and go to any other part of town. I can go from St. Regis. If I want to go to the theater, I can take a water taxi to the theater. So people are looking for how they move within a community. They're relying less on cars. And we have a lot of options with the water taxi, the boats, and also the walkability.
How important is that connection? So let's say you're a boater. Do they care about being connected to the walkability, to the amenities, to the restaurants, or do they just want a nice spot for their boat? How important is that role and is that connection between boating and everything else?
Well, the biggest advantage of just docking your boat somewhere versus keeping it at a marina is the service that you're getting at a marina. So a lot of the buyers here when they have a boat, they're actually taking their boat to the Keys or they're going to the Bahamas. So they want to load their boat with the proper type of food. They want to walk to the different restaurants and shops. Boaters generally, I guess I would say they're a little bit more of a casual bird. And when they go to the Bahamas, they're in resort style. And that's exactly what we're turning into. We're looking at this area as a resort area where people want to feel comfortable. They don't want to be dressed the way I am right now. They want to be, in a Tommy Bahama t-shirt and shorts. And they want to be able to walk to where they want to go within a very short distance and feel that resort style.
Very nice. Looking ahead 5 to 10 years, what project or improvement do you believe will have the single greatest impact on the Fort Lauderdale real estate market?
The city has committed over $200 million on parks and recreation. And that $200 million is primarily built in our downtown park system. And as I mentioned, a world-class tennis club now that you can go to from here within 5 or 10 minutes. You've got a ice skating rings, one for the Panthers and one open to the public, by the way, so the children and everyone have a place to go to. In addition to that, you have the Parker Playhouse, which is a theater that has just been completely renovated to its original status. And then you're going to have the Fort Lauderdale Vertiport Center. Again, 1,000 car garage. I believe that that is going to be the defining chapter of downtown Fort Lauderdale. So a lot of these busy executives, if they're flying their plane, and let's say they don't go to Fort Lauderdale, they go to Miami or they go to Palm Beach, they can jump on that vertiport and be in downtown Fort Lauderdale in 15 minutes. So I think that's going to be a big game changer for the people that are coming here that don't want to deal with traffic, because even going to Miami from Fort Lauderdale sometimes can take you an hour, and this is going to cut that about 75%.
Dan, you certainly are the absolute expert on Fort Lauderdale. Why don't you let's end this with talking about why the St. Regis. In my opinion, it's one of the most unbelievable projects I've seen, with the 40 acres, the boats, the amenities, the views on both sides. It truly is spectacular. Just end it, tell us why St. Regis and what's your favorite aspect of this project.
Nick, 10 years ago, I used to talk about the Bright Line, and a lot of people would make comments like, I don't know if I would use it. Is it going to go too fast? Sounds scary. Well, I'm talking about the vertiport right now. And, you have to be ahead of your time. I remember 5 years ago, I never thought I'd be driving a self-driving car, and I just drove here today without even touching the steering wheel. So the vertiport is coming. The city has committed a 1,000 car garage construction in downtown Fort Lauderdale. They're expecting to have 15 takeoffs every 15 minutes. And this is going to also unify all of South Florida. And again, Fort Lauderdale is right in the center. So I feel, at the center of the universe of South Florida.
Well, Dan, you certainly are the expert in Fort Lauderdale. You're a wealth of knowledge, and I really appreciate you sitting with us. In conclusion, the St. Regis Bahia Mar, as far as I'm concerned, and being in business 20 years, it's one of the most spectacular, incredible projects to come. Why don't you just tell us why you love the project?
I can't think of any development that's on 40 acres on the ocean in South Florida. The only thing I can think of that even comes close would be Fisher Island in Miami, which we have something in common with. We've got an area surrounded by water on 4 sides. So speaking about the lifestyle in Fort Lauderdale, I mentioned the word fun earlier.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, where?
This is probably some type of fun shift going up and down.
Yes, it is.
Intercoastal.
Yes, it is.
And this is exactly what attracts the buyers here, is that we're sophisticated, but we're fun. And people who come here, they're looking for that sophisticated lifestyle. They love the fact that we're 40 acres on the ocean, very low density, but they want to have fun. Our buyers, they'll walk down the street in their Tommy Bahama outfits, and they want to go to dinner in shirts and shorts. But at the end of the day, they come here and then they might want to go to their, the high-end restaurants, and they might want to show off at that point. But at the end of the day, it's all about fun in Fort Lauderdale.
Dan, I cannot thank you enough. I appreciate the time, and I know our viewers are going to be super excited to hear what you have to say. And we're digging in more on the St. Regis Bahia Mar. So thank you very much.
My pleasure, Nick.
Thank you.
I hope you guys enjoyed learning more about the St. Regis Bahia Mar and sitting down with the expert and sales director, Dan Teixeira. If you need more information, feel free to reach out.